Dr. Hummings. What do you do for self-care?
What I do for self-care, I spend time with family. I especially like watching British crime dramas, um, oddly so, and a good workout.
And why is self-care important for you?
Self-care is important for me. It's central to my career as a psychologist. Um, we have to put self-care and stress management and work-life balance at the forefront of our lives so that we can take care of other people, be more effective as clinicians, and just perform better in the field.
Hi, Dr. Muscatello. Can you tell us what self-care means to you?
Yeah, so self-care, the idea of self-care is that, we take the initiative, we have to protect our time, our boundaries, we have to take initiative for ourselves, and I think a lot of us maybe have a fantasy that others will take care of us, but when we're grown, we have to take care of ourselves. And for me, part of my self-care is to be sure to socialize with other people. When someone asks me to go out to lunch, even if I have work to do, I'll usually go. Being around other people, being in an office with other folks, my colleagues, that's a big part of my self-care. And another part of my self-care is I like to walk, and I like coffee, and I like dogs. Dogs are a big part of my self-care. Any dog can be on a sofa or in a bed with me anytime.
Hi, Dr. Davis. What do you do for self-care?
Self-care. Spending time with friends, spending time with family, definitely like a good spa day, and traveling.
And why do you think self-care is so important?
Self-care is important because I think it's important for you to be intentional about yourself. I think it's self-care, self-love. And I think you can't go wrong with loving who you are so that you can show up in your best self, as your best self in any space.
Hi, Ananya. What do you do for self-care?
I do several things for self-care. One of the things that I love to do is just to be out in nature and nature bathe. So that could mean going on a run, it could mean going on a long walk by myself or with a friend. I also really love to cook. I get into a flow state in the kitchen, and so I love to cook not just for myself but also for other people and just get creative in the kitchen.
And why is self-care important to you?
Self-care is important because we live in a world that's very busy, that demands a lot of us, and it's important that we pour back into ourselves the way we pour into others. And the relationship that we have with ourselves is the most important one, and the longest relationship we'll ever have with anyone. So it's important that we nourish and nurture the relationship we have with ourselves through self-care.
Hey Phil,
What's up? What's going on?
what do you do for self-care?
I like to go to the gym, and then I'd like to take a moment to sit outside with no technology and just enjoy the weather.
Awesome. And why is self-care important to you?
Self-care allows me to detach from my day-to-day and just allow me to just be and reconnect with myself.
Awesome.
Hi, Dr. Jackson Lampley. What does self-care mean to you?
Hello. Hi. Well, for me, self-care is about being intentional about nurturing the different parts of oneself. And part of being intentional is paying attention to one's different needs. And the different parts of yourself, that could be the physical part of yourself, the emotional part of yourself, the cognitive part, the relational part, the spiritual part. But whatever the parts that make up your life and what's important to you, I think it's important to be intentional about nurturing the different parts. For example, it might be that you need more exercise. That's nurturing the physical part of yourself. It might be that you realize that you feel bored a lot. So you may need to nurture the cognitive part of yourself to stay intellectually stimulated. At other times, it might be needing more laughter. That's part of nurturing the emotional part of yourself. At other times, it might be recognizing that you're carrying a lot of pain that you're not allowing yourself to feel. So being intentional about allowing yourself to mourn and feel whatever pain you may be carrying, and even cry about that if needed. That's also part of nurturing the emotional part of yourself. At other times, it might just be needing to connect more to the other people in your life. And that's part of nurturing the relational part of yourself. So the important thing is being attentive to your needs and being intentional about nurturing yourself. Thank you.
Hi, Phone. What do you do for self-care?
So for self-care, I try to do something like physical, so some sort of physical exercise. On days that I have a lot of energy, that could be running. On days where I'm feeling a little bit more low, I could do some, gentle movement like yoga or something low impact. I like to eat my comfort food, so like making sure that I'm eating, making sure that I enjoy the food that I eat. That's my self-care. And I also really enjoy journaling or writing, channeling my creative side. I think that's another thing that I do for self-care. I think that self-care is very important because we have to be self-aware. For me, self-care means self-awareness. We have to know when we are burning out, when we need to pour into ourselves, when we're running more on empty, and in those moments, think about what other ways we can feel ourselves, because I care about myself and I enjoy my own company, and I think that when I'm full and I'm filled, I enjoy my company even more.
Hi, Dr. Barnett.
Hi.
What does self-care mean to you?
Okay. Well, self-care to me is a way to recharge. And I feel like we live in a world where we are rewarded for overproductivity and working very hard. And self-care is kind of a way to provide ourselves some self-compassion and a way to slow down. So for me, I think it's very basic. I like to attend to my physical health. I try really hard to sleep well, to eat well, to move my body. And then I also think for me, self-care is about boundaries, knowing kind of my limits kind of in relationships with people, whether it's personal or professional, and making sure that I'm attending to my needs in those types of dynamics as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Dr. McIntosh. What do you do for self-care?
So, self-care is so important. One of the things I do, I've just started taking walks. Now it's getting colder, so it gets a little harder, but taking walks is so important. I love being out, getting my body moving. In this job where we sit for days on end, it feels like being able to actually take a walk makes a huge difference. Another thing I like doing is watching a lot of TV. I watch way too much TV, but I think it's helpful for me to just detach a little bit. And so I'll find a good show after a nice walk, and I'll settle in and zone out, and it makes all the difference. Helps moderate my stress, helps me think about other things. I think it's pretty useful.
What self-care means to me is participating in meaningful, mindful activities that pour into yourself, so you're not only able to do more for yourself, but for those around you. I do so by reading every night before bed in order to decompress from my day and starting the next day feeling more refreshed and ready to tackle whatever comes my way. Hi, Dr. Desilu. What do you do for self-care?
For self-care, I enjoy writing. So I like to write poetry, and also too, it's the things that seem small but make a big difference for me. So when I'm riding into work, I like to listen to my J. Cole, my Thames, my Cleo Soul. It just gets me in the right spirit.
Hey, Daniel.
Hello.
Hey, what do you do for self-care?
I like to play basketball, and I like to go on walks around the lake in my neighborhood.
All right, why is self-care important to you?
Because we are innately good people, and since we're good, we need to do good things for ourselves. So self-care is good, and so that's why I think people should do self-care.
Destiny, what do you do for self-care?
I stay hydrated, and I spend at least an hour a day either reading a book outside or going for a walk with no music.
Cool.
Aaliyah, what do you like to do for self-care?
I like to listen to music, I like to cook, and I try to do at least a monthly massage.
Oh, okay.